Hello and welcome to Roochis town. We live in Rhode Island, which is in the northeast of United States. Uh, we have warm weather here for around 6 to 7 months in a year, and we grow our vegetables. So I'll take you along as to what all we grew in the last 2 years. When I started vlogging, my daughter wanted to teach me how to do the vlogging, and here is a demo.
Hello lovely viewers, welcome to Roochis town. Today I'm gonna show you around my beautiful garden. So here this is our okra plant. It's growing quite well and they also smell nice. This is our beans plant. It has nice shaped leaves, growing very well, and beans are type of creepers. And this is one of my favorite plants and vegetables. So this is the Brinjal plant or eggplant, whatever you call it. It has very fat leaves and something like feathers or ice around it.
So that was her explanation of all the plants. Anyways, this is the brinjal plant, and here you are seeing the chili plants. One full raised bed here, and another raised bed on the diagonally opposite one also, where chili plants they grew very well. And I used to pluck chilies from this and cook every day. And when there were a lot of them, we wanted to pluck them all together, harvest them together. And it so happened that during that time, the deer we have a lot of deers in the backyard, so they came and they ate all up. We were so worried that they were so spicy chilies and we were not sure what would happen to the stomach of the deer. Same thing happened with these tomato plants also. So the plants that you're seeing in this are very small. Actually, after a month or two after this, they had grown really tall and there were a lot of tomatoes. And the same thing happened. They ate along with the tree plants itself. So that was an experience. So every year, like when we put it, like we have to make sure there is some kind of a fence around it. If not, it will not work out. These are the mint cuttings that we get from the store. After using the mint, I had planted them. And here are some coriander leaves. So I had put in a lot of coriander seeds, but then it did not come. They were all from the Indian store. The one which was there in my kitchen, I used them. Probably the quality of the seed was not good, so it really did not yield much. So I have to get fresh seeds this time when I actually try this out. So these are the beans. Here we are harvesting the beans. These are variety of beans plants, and they gave very good result. So within like 40 to 45 days, it started giving the beans, and every 2 3 days I used to pluck them. So as and when I wanted to cook, I used to pluck the beans directly from the plant, and I used to cook them. So and later stage I even froze them as well. And I had two different varieties of beans. One is a traditional variety, and this is the Ooty variety of the beans. Look how shiny it is. That is right out of the um, plant, and it is really shiny. So every time we harvested, we used to get around 1 to 1.5 kgs of beans. Tomatoes were very few that we got because most of them were eaten by the animals itself. I think we have rabbits also which eat, so we really don't know what are being eaten by which animal. So, anyways, that's what used to happen. It was quite a fun, and we used to spend a lot of time outside. Every day we go out, check on the plants, what is growing, what is not growing, anything that has to be done. Spending the time together, and when we are sowing the seeds and doing all this, we do it together as a family, and that was also quality time spent outside. So we had something to do at the end of the day after our busy work schedule. So we had something to do. So that was really very interesting, and we were very happy that we actually took this planting project up. We started right from making the own raised beds. If you haven't seen, I have a video for that. You can see how the raised beds were made and how we filled the dirt in it, mud in it, and then grew the plants. So it is a very good video. You go ahead and see that. I will link that in this video. So as a family, you could do this, try this out. Definitely a good way to spend time together. So these are the coriander greens and some chilies that I have harvested. So look how shiny it is. I mean, just to look at it, it is so good. And when I cook, these are the plants that were eaten by the deer. Actually, that's what I have put there. It's so crazy. So when we harvest it right from the uh, plants and get it to our kitchen table and cook it immediately, the taste of it is so different from what happens when we actually buy it from the supermarket, keep it in the fridge or put it in the freezer, then do it. It's completely different. That this taste is very good. See, these are the tomatoes, some of those that we ate. So it's so funny. So every time when we are talking in the garden that okay, this is going to come out, this is going to come out, I'll be saying, "Oh dear, did you hear that?" So this is the month this will be coming. Get ready to come and eat is what I keep talking. It's absolute fun actually. So when they eat also we really don't feel upset. It's like they are the animals. They also need to get their food. We are happy that if they ate them. Actually they don't touch this beans at all. So the rest of the plants they eat away, but they just don't touch this beans at all. So they survived just like this without any fence so well. I'll show you these beans. They keep yielding like all through the season. I think till October or so it keeps giving fruits. And in the October when the frost starts, the plant started to dry up. If you're new to growing vegetables, I would definitely suggest trying the beans out. You don't need a lot of maintenance or any fertilizers, and it grows all by itself, is what I would say. During one of these seasons, we had gone to India and we came. We did not take care of it at all for about a month or so, but still they survived all that. And there is a sprinkler system that we have, so watering the plants is not a problem. So that way it grew well. So look at this. Every time I show you, it's a different harvest that I have made. It's not the same harvest of videos or photos that you're looking at. It's completely different. Every time I do, I used to take videos separately. These beans blend with the plant. Actually, it'll be green in color, so we can't even see where they are. Sometimes they would be left in the tree, it's in the plant itself for a longer time, and it turns yellow in color with a thick seed inside it. If you see, this had overgrown, and then I peeled them off and I used those seeds. This is okra or lady's finger. These plants grow really tall, around 6 to 7 foot long, and if you see, they have wonderful flowers. We had so many flowers, but for some reason the flowers used to fall off from the plants and they never gave any okras out. So I think there was some deficiency which we did not address, but it's kind of a learning. We have okra plants even this time too. We definitely have to make sure they stay this time. So we did not use any fertilizers and all for any of these. Sometimes we used to put some Epsom salt. That's the only thing that we would do. And sometimes we actually crush the eggs and put them as protein for the plants. So that's what we do. Mostly it's all natural. And one more thing with this okra plants where we had a lot of worms in it. I had to check for the worms every day and make sure I removed them. If not, they would eat the plants up. And this is the brinjal plant. This is the Bangalore variety of the white brinjal plant. It grew very well, and again I had a similar kind of a problem where the flowers used to fall off, but I had good yield. I mean, at least to some extent I had some yield, around 2 to 3 kgs of brinjals I got in one of these seasons. um, we make wangi bath out of this and I like it a lot. Here in Rhode Island we don't get this variety of the brinjals at all, so that's the reason I had actually grown them up. This time around the season, we have not planted any brinjals at all. We did not get any seeds here because of all the lockdown and all. Probably in a month or two, we have to find something. And when I made dishes out of it, they were really tasty. And next you see is the mint. I had kept this in the garage also and tried to grow that. It did not really grow well. Some say it grows like weed. I haven't cracked that code yet. And this is following year or so where I had planted radish and turnip. They gave a great yield as well. So they were red radish and turnips. The red radish has to grow only a small lime size, but then we had been to India, and when we came, they were overgrown actually. Look at that. These are all turnips. And turnips also, when we leave it for a longer time, it becomes fibrous and we cannot eat it. I made use of all the greens also that is there. I had never eaten that before. I know that they eat it, but then because we had grown it, we had so much love towards the plant. I could see that every time, like it's grown by ourselves, we don't like to waste it at all. So that's the love we have towards our homegrown vegetables. So I made some fry out of that greens. It was more like any other palak or anything. If you make how it would come out, basically it was similar to that only. I have dishes or recipes that I made out of it. I harvested this and I actually have put up a video showing all those. So this is the last harvest of that season basically that you're seeing in this video. The plants have all overgrown. So when the turnips overgrow, the taste also changes. It actually doesn't taste like a turnip anymore at all. So that's how it had become. Apart from this, we grew cucumber, muskmelon, and all. Look at this cucumber, it is overgrown. We had not seen it, it was overgrown and it became really ripe. And that's a small muskmelon that you see there. Now it is time to harvest radish. See, if you see, you might think that this is the Indian variety of radish and it is very small, but these are actually supposed to be very little, like a lime size, like I told you earlier, lime size radish, but they were overgrown and it had become like that. So around this year, we have started our gardening again. So we had to clean it. So this is how it is after all the winter and all. So we have to clean the entire place up, remove all the dead leaves and start sowing them. So these are the radish. This is chickpea, which I had actually thrown, that has grown. We have a lot of them. And these are the potatoes that we are growing in buckets. All those potatoes that were sprouted in the kitchen, we grew them. And these are garlic. So I used to keep them in the kitchen. Once they start rooting, I put it there on the ground. So that's how we are doing it this time. So this is my garden tour. Hope you liked it. If you like this, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Roochis Town.